Hello guys, today we're going to be looking at a scenario where Civilization just starts over. We are on episode number 6, and this new world order is escalating high. By episode 8, you guys will know what the world order is, but right now, I think a lot of you guys can start to guess what this is. Hint, it's something where a few countries bond together against something or someone. That's your only hint. So you guys have to guess before episode 8. And no cheating either. If you haven't watched the series, no cheating. No skipping to episode 8 or anything like that. Okay, well anyways, we did a lot of sinking in the last video, but now there's going to be a lot of land rising due to this. We are going to have Greenland, but it's just going to be a smaller version. We're going to have this little piece of island eventually pop up, and the people are going to wait until the sea levels are high enough. I mean, these guys have grown. And then we see a little tiny island next to Britain. We just see a little tiny island next to the British Isles, which actually has a bunch of small islands, but really it's only made up of one. So there you go. So exploration is going to be high. Africa is going to start being explored. And some tribes, some people that came from Germany or something, they're going to head up and become allies with the explorationists. And the explorationists together are going to discover a lot of Africa. Same with these southern African countries and this weird pink little country, which probably is going to expand very soon. In this episode, I think we're going to see them expand, only because they're tired of being so small. So yeah, the world is definitely looking more white now. We only have North America that isn't white, because Africa's about to be white. But now the terrain over here is bad, so they're not going to be able to explore it just yet. But now we're going to see a sea rise up. So you know how I said that there's probably going to be a sea right here? Well, there is. A huge piece of water just opens up, and it's a huge lake. And a lot of countries, or a lot of tribes, are going to be forming around it. Specifically, the ones where, they all acting crazy and all that stuff. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Okay, so there are a few tribes who decide to make a tiny little nation next to this huge lake. Some tribes decide to come for the same country and their little exclave over here. Eventually, they're going to expand upwards, and these guys are going to expand downwards. Eventually, some people decide to connect, and their country finally can connect with each other. And this is what the country's borders are going to look like right now. Kind of a curvy country, but it's whatever. Let's just clear out all these lines. They might expand a little bit. So yeah, new country in the world. Yay! New country. I wonder how many countries we're going to have by episode 8. Alright, so finally, let's see. There's a bunch of countries that are about to be forming. Today's episode, there's going to be tons of countries. There are going to be tens and hundreds of countries. Specifically with Asia and, other stuff. We're going to be seeing a lot of small countries in this series, more than big ones. And that's just because I want a lot of countries, because that would mean a lot of action. So when this could be united, instead, I'm going to make it look something like this. When this whole peninsula could be united, because it's big enough to have a one country. But I'm not doing that. Alright, and the next area is this little area right here. And it's going to be a Switzerland type country. It's going to be very small, and it's just going to be forgotten about. However, we are going to see a few big countries down here, kind of. And what do I mean by that? I mean that there's going to be a whole southern empire country forming here. And the borders are going to look something like this. Something like that. And they even have a little exclave right here, and that's just because there are a bunch of tribes right here. There was a bunch of tribes right here that lived here, so they're just going to use that base. But this is the main area. And we'll give capitals to these guys. We will give capitals to these guys. I just gotta make sure it's not going above 15 minutes. I'm gonna try to make this video 10 minutes long, which is like the highest Wisco I've ever done yet. But I don't know if I'll be able to do that. Alright, so now we see this little green country becoming a thing. And now we can see this continent's being divided now. We see another new country, but this time it's a pretty grayish country. Not that kind of gray, because that's explorerish gray. Like this kind of gray. I mean red-ish, gray-ish. So this is what the borders are going to look like, and they obviously look pretty cool. Their exclave is going to be right here, and it's just going to be a weird exclave, but it's just going to be right here, so just don't question it. But they'll connect up. But before they can connect up and they start expanding, a new country pops up in their way, and this is probably going to lead to a war here. Honestly, it's not surprising if there is a war for this. There probably will be, but we'll see. We'll see. This little country decides, no, you're not going to have your exclave because we're blocking your way. And now these guys are having tensions, and there will probably be a war sometime. Let's give capitals to all these new countries that have just formed on the world map. So we got this guy. We got this guy. Let's make the capitals small for like the smaller countries, and the bigger countries are going to have bigger things. This country's kind of isolated from the rest of the continent, but now I think Australia is going to actually want some land here. Alright, so Australia is going to take a bit of land for themselves. They're going to take this beach area right here so their people can have a nice vacation and they don't have to have a passport. That's all they wanted. They care about their people. We also see the first island of New Zealand being conquered, but then we see a yellow country being formed called New Zealand, and they're going to have a whole fight, but eventually New Zealand unites. And their capital, and since I'm using yellow, we have to use a darker thing for the capital of this country. It's going to be right there. We're never going to always use that, though. That's only if the country's yellow. Now, what about these guys? These guys have only been exploring. Well, the blue country is going to have some justice. They're going to finally expand. And they're going to expand greatly. They're going to expand more into China, and they're even going to push through the jungles to start exploring to the jungles areas. They're even going to start exploring around the Persian area, and it's not looking good for a lot of these guys. They're kind of expanding towards the Persian area, but that's when a country called the Mesopotamian Empire is forming. Oh, by the way, this is inspired by Addis Pro and like other YouTubers. Oh gosh, we gotta hurry. It's like, oh gosh, we gotta hurry. Okay. I got like 2 minutes. Well, I can do this in 15 minutes, but I'm gonna do this in 10 minutes. So, alright, so a new Mesopotamian country near these rivers right here is gonna form. And it's gonna be kind of good because of its centralized location in the world. So it's kind of gonna have a strategic advantage in world politics. And they're going to use that fact to expand. They're not going to expand greatly like other Mesopotamian empires and Wiscos. They're only going to take over these bits and some of that. There you go. That's all they want. They just want this. No, not the whole world. They don't want the whole world. Alright, and now we can talk about more about the world order now that we have enough countries on the world map. So, the world order, there's going to be a secret thing happening in the world order. And you guys are going to be finding out about this in about 2 episodes. And it's going to be amazing. It's probably going to lead to something called World War I, but I don't know. I just don't know what's going to happen. Did I forget to give these guys capitals? That's crazy. That's actually insane. I forgot to give these guys capitals. Sorry, I need to update my map better. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, I didn't even get Brazil. Alright, well that's going to be the end of today's video. And yeah, it's very long. Very longer than my usual Wisco videos. Probably one of my longest videos ever. And now I will see you guys in the next Wisco video. Goodbye.